I have to run the track after work.
Oh, that's good.
Yes, he's doing very well, thank you. I forget, somebody has one.
Oh, you're way up high on that, huh?
They got like the lens of mask for people that wear glasses.
I know,
So it all comes out the side.
Yeah, I hear you, buddy.
Yeah.
It's steaming up there.
Steam terrible, you
I
know?
know. Somebody's gonna trip, fall, and break their neck, and they're gonna say it was COVID related.
That's,
I
yeah.
have like names to their faces, so are you Arnold?
No, I'm-
You're Arnold. You're Ian.
I could be Arnold.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, they get a better, 20% better cost from you if you were COVID and you died that way. Yeah.
and so I'll bring that up. Yes, change,
Crazy time.
sorry. I didn't-
I don't see it getting much better either.
What's that?
I don't see it getting
Just
much
got
better.
just I know I was-
Exactly.
message board,
Yeah.
Put that
Yeah.
one before the sign.
The interesting to see, well,
This
we're
church
gonna,
wanted to do me like.
the
a
election
message
may be
board
November 3rd. Hopefully we're gonna find out by
for
March.
years.
Yeah, after they count it all.
Oh,
So-
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's gonna be
I would
so
like to
many
see
challenges on
commissioners
that.
or village
Florida,
board meeting,
the
but it's
hanging
like
chads.
Oh, you wanna put that word.
Thing.
right in front of it, which B with A.
Oh, okay.
Is that what that last page is?
No, I'm talking about the change to the agenda. Hi. Most of you are, somehow when I put their email, their letter in one PDF file and attached it, and I have no idea where it disappeared to on that page break, because I just printed out the entire document, so I'm not sure where it disappeared to.
Computer aided.
So anyway, they will share their last comments during their presentation. And I know I'm at the head of the meeting, but that way,
So what program are you having problems with?
well, I had to update my napkin. And it's like been putting my in basket into the trash. And I haven't been getting, Teresa said she emailed me on Tuesday and it wasn't there when I opened my email this morning. I had a really light day last night, or Tuesday. What day are we on? No, it's Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Tuesdays are my light days, so I didn't get into my email until this morning, and I went through, and I didn't have an email from you. So I'll have to go see where it disappeared to. Maybe it ended up over in spam, but I so rarely check my spam, but I'll go see if it went that way. But it wasn't in trash, because I checked my trash. So.
I hear you have a female member of the I'm talking. I hear you got a female member of the Sleepy Hollow Club now.
Yes, we're all in trouble. No, she's great. Okay, we're live on YouTube and on the Zoom.
I have 1 minute on my watch. I don't know what that says. That's too far away for me to see.
18:30. It's time.
Well, the phone says 6:30.
Okay. I call meeting to order. First thing on business is the pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call?
Holding,
Yes.
Buskey,
Here,
Fuqua.
Here.
Hoffman. Kopatz,
Here,
Plath.
class present.
We have a quorum of 5.
Okay, the agenda, there is a change we're going to have for the agenda under new business. we're gonna move B to A and A to B. So there's just that little switch underneath there of the new business.
That was per my request.
Per your request, per Mark's request. So with that in mind, I would like to get a motion to approve the agenda.
So approved. Motion.
The second. Okay, I guess we gotta do roll call with everything, don't we?
Yes, Bowling,
Yes.
Buskey,
Yes,
Fuqua,
Yes.
Kopetz,
Yes.
Plath,
Yes.
and Hoffman's absent. Approval is approved.
It's been approved. Approval of minutes. Everybody got a copy of the minutes?
motion approval.
We have a motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor will be on a roll call also.
Sorry, I'm just getting caught up here.
In just a minute.
Bowling,
Yes.
Buskey,
Yes,
Fuqua,
Yes?
Hoffman's absent, Kopetz,
Yes.
Plath,
Yes.
motion carries.
Motion carried. Okay, we'll move into the public hearing.
And then we'll need to read this. Notice of public hearing, legal notice is hereby given to all persons that the Sleepy Hollow Planning and Zoning Commission will
I'm sorry,
conduct.
you have to speak a little slower.
Sorry.
She can't.
Given to all persons.
That the Sleepy Hollow Planning and Zoning Commission will conduct a public hearing on Wednesday, October 21st, 2020 at 6:30 PM at the Sleepy Hollow Village Hall, 1 Thoroughbred Lane, Sleepy Hollow, Illinois. The purpose of the hearing is to consider testimony and make a determination regarding an application by Arnold Thomas Kastner and Michelle F. Kastner as petitioners. The petitioners have filed with the Village of Sleepy Hollow an application for variance from section 8-1-9.b of the Village of Sleepy Hollow zoning code. The applicant is requesting a variance to allow portico and the required 35-foot front yard setback. The property is located at 1298 Acorn Court, Sleepy Hollow, Illinois, 60118, and is identified by PIN 03-28-321-020. The legal description of the subject property is Lot 16 in Windsor's second addition to Sleepy Hollow, Surrey Ridge subdivision, being a subdivision of part of Section 28, Township 42 North, Range 8, east of the third principal meridian, according to the plat thereof recorded February 5th, 1987 as document number 1822488 in the Village of Sleepy Hollow, Kane County, Illinois. All parties who have an interest in this proposal are encouraged to attend this meeting and provide testimony as appropriate or may provide written testimony. Written correspondence should be directed to the Planning and Zoning Commission, CO Village Clerk, 1 Thoroughbred Lane, Sleepy Hollow, Illinois, 60118, or may be submitted electronically to amills@sleepyhollowill.org by 3 p.m. October 21, 2020. In light of the current COVID-19 public health emergency and the prohibition of large public gatherings, the Planning and Zoning Commission will allow the public to attend the meeting remotely. Social distancing and compliance with state requirements will be met, while every accommodation will be made to allow those who wish to be present. In-person attendance may be limited from time to time due to spacing requirements. Details regarding how to attend the virtual hearing will be posted on the village's website, http://www.sleepyhollowill.org, and posted at the Village Hall's front door at least 48 hours prior to the hearing. The application is on file with the Village of Sleepy Hollow's Clerk's Office, 1 Thoroughbred Lane, Sleepy Hollow, Illinois, and may be viewed at this location during normal Village Hall hours with prior coordination, as the Village Hall is currently closed to the public due to COVID-19. Inquiries regarding the application may be made to the code official at 630-816-8455. This was published by the Daily Herald on the 6th of October 2020, and we do have the certificate of publication that it was duly published.
Okay, I want to make a comment that Mr. Hoffman showed up at 9:34 or 6:34, not 9:34. I certainly hope not. With that, we will move on to the ask for a testimony from the for the petition, the petitioners. I think we got to swear them in.
Yes, could you swear them in, please?
So it's gonna be,
All three.
all three, raise your right hands, please. Do you solemnly swear the testimony which you are about to give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yeah,
I do.
we do.
Okay, would you start by letting us know what you're having done and why you're having it done, or requesting this change in the in the zoning, planning, zoning commission people?
We're going to allow Andy, our
Sure.
construction guy, to speak
Yeah,
on our
I'm
behalf.
the contractor, named Andy Wiltberger. Right, Wiltberger, mascot boy. We are, well, they contracted me to build a front roof portico, which would allow the front of their home to have a little bit of shade, protect their front entry that they've had to replace year after year due to rot, sun damage, rain damage, and then ice buildups, and have been very difficult for them to maintain the integrity of the house, the stoop, which we are replacing the stoop because of ice and snow, and just the front of the house faces east, so it gets some hot morning sun, ice melt, slippery conditions, unsafe. And then as we all have Amazon deliveries, their Amazon deliveries are being left outside, damaged due to weather if they happen to not be home. And plus it just adds a nice look to the front of the house. So, you know, these things, we do them a lot, but the problem here is we didn't really notice that building setback line, that we crossed it by about 12, 14 inches to about maybe 10 inches on one side. It's kind of a funny angle, because they live in a corner lot. I do have some, you know, renderings here that my architect has done of what the proposed project will look like. I can hand this around, or
If you want to pass the sheets around,
I
they
can
can show
pass
me,
the sheets,
that would
sure.
probably be easiest.
yeah,
There's just a couple different elevations. There's, this is just duplicates of this elevation. This is just a copy of the actual plan. So if you just want all these, you can have them all.
That's okay, we can see it.
Just so you can,
I got to remember.
yeah, just so you can take a look, but.
It's like a Polaroid, it's take a picture, but it never develops.
Yeah. So, you know, it adds a nice look to the house. A lot of the other homes in the community have this same type of portico, it's very common. Looks nice. It is encroaching, yes, on the BSL, the building setback limits. But to the point that really is not, in our eyes, interfering with anything right of way, vehicle traffic, visual, turning the corner. So, yeah, does that help a little bit?
The owners, do you have something you want to say? You want to give us some
Well, I can
information?
give you some information on that, basically. We've been here for 23 years, and basically I not let anybody in my front door in the wintertime.
I'm sorry, say that again. Basically, you're,
Been here for 23 years, and basically, we don't use the front door because of the snow and ice. have found myself 3 to 4 times, and the last time I did it was last year, and I hit my frame, and my neck right now doesn't work the best. And I don't want anybody to step on the front porch. There's nothing we can do about it. I tried scraping it off, the ice, it just doesn't go away, it freezes again at night. And that's one of the reasons why we want to cover it, so that there isn't gonna damage anybody else falling on it, especially with mail coming and stuff like that. It's just an improvement. We think it should be done. It should have been done long time ago, but my friends and family, if they come by, I bring them through the garage. In the wintertime, I do not go to the front porch. It's just, it's a place I don't think people should be falling down and hurting themselves because I got ice up. So basically, that's why we want to do it now. It's becoming winter again, and we're just tired of working that way for over 23 years. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do you have something you'd like to say, or?
I just know I have like my insulin delivered and the bag sometimes it gets saturated and it worries me, so.
Question from the committee?
Why wasn't a permit obtained ahead of time?
Why what?
Why wasn't a
The
permit?
permit, yeah, the permit was, we thought I had one of the office staff submitted the permit electronically. We'll be doing a lot of electronic permits. And we made a mistake. We started the project and we got some piers in the ground. Weather's kind of going in the wrong direction for us. We're trying to get their project done. We thought we could at least get the footings done, and then Barb came out and said, whoa. So we got everything back up to the way we should have, and it's been a crazy year. Permits and building departments all over the Chicagoland area have been very difficult to get inspections done, plans submitted. We couldn't drop any plans off at some places because they were closed. They did it all electronically now. I guess it was done differently here. Barb explained that, so.
Barb, Ms. Detmer,
Yes.
did you do any inspections on what's in there now?
No, I issued a stop work order on it because they had already framed up the portico, so the footings were poured. The only thing that it's missing is basically the rafters, roof decking.
I'm sorry, did I miss something?
Oh,
Was
rafters-
basically the,
It was framed up and it was missing the rafters and the roof decking before it was shingled. So it's,
Andy, you did
skeleton's there.
a very good job of explaining why they need this portico extension on there. Problem is you as a builder have to know that unless you have the permit in the window, you should not be doing any work.
Correct. My carpenter went out there, dug the holes. We did take pictures of the footings down 42 across. And we just, kind of wanted to get things moving. And then Barb, came out. So, yeah, I know better. Usually things like this, it's a small job. It's not a dwelling that you live in. It's a small attached, kind of a shade structure thing. Depends on the different communities. Some communities don't even care. They're like, hey, go ahead, that doesn't require a permit, but, so.
There's very few of those though.
There are a few. Yeah, the St. Charles, Geneva, they let us go on some things, but, no, I get it.
That's all I have.
I see quite a bit of other development on the same property. Have permits been obtained for all the rest of the work?
Yes.
they have a patio permit. So far, no inspections have been done because they haven't been called in yet. There's supposed to be a base inspection for the back patio. And then the plan is that, as you saw in the drawing, is they're planning a patio out from the new portico as well. That has not been issued. That'll be part of this permit, should variance be granted.
Yeah, a walkway.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
wouldn't call it a patio because
Yeah, well,
we don't allow patios in the front yard.
Yeah,
We
walkway.
haven't started any of that. It's just a public, not a public, but just a,
Yeah, it's a service walk, yeah.
and right now the riser going up on the front stoop is, it's all sunk in the overdig over time. So it's massive. So we've got to rebuild all that, bring it up to par and do it right. So we can.
Any other questions, or? Does anybody else have any comments they want to make about this and present testimony regarding this hearing?
I'll make a comment. Certainly, I know a lot of homes in Sleepy Hollow have covered porches, maybe going halfway across the house and everything, as well as individual porticos like this. So I think it certainly fits the quality in the village. I must admit, I'm also surprised that a permit wasn't requested, knowing that you needed a permit for the work at the back of the yard. I guess for a committee for the village, I have a question as to how well aware do you think people are of what some of the regulations are for things like this? Or even from a building perspective, you know, you do a lot of building. I would have thought you certainly would have been aware that
Yeah.
a permit would have been required.
There are things, landscaping is not permittable, you know, usually you don't get a permit for planting, tree, shrub, landscape lighting, I don't know if that's, in some communities actually require you to get a permit for landscape lighting. Sleepy Hollow, I don't know about that. So,
Okay, I'd like to, if that's the case with, we have no further testimony, I'm going to close the hearing and public comment, and I would like to discuss the merits of the presented information. And then we need to determine the findings of fact in this decision, in this petition. First, and your question about the what the village knows or doesn't know, I think we can hold off to later on under new business. But it really doesn't pertain to the specific action.
No, it doesn't.
Well, I think it does a little bit, because we've been having these meetings, and everyone that's come in for a variance has already started a project. And
Agreed.
I think there should be something that the village puts out that, on our website, it's a very good place to do it. And all of the population here know that these are the things that are required, decks, you know, patios. So, yeah, I agree. I think we'll follow up on that after this.
Yeah, and I agree completely, because you're seeing too many of these recently where, well, let's do it and beg forgiveness later.
Yeah.
You know, one of those, you know, the village can utilize the permit funds and they're not that extensive. So I just think with a lot of new, you know, transitions in the village, I mean, new neighbors and all that, a lot of them, the younger say, oh, we don't need a permit. Let's see if we, you know, can avoid it. And if we get caught, we'll beg forgiveness later. And I think we need to do something about that, because again, as you just stated, yeah, we're seeing too many of these.
Yeah.
And I can understand all that and don't have any challenges with it. I'm sure it's fine. I mean, I've seen it many times. I've gone by it every day. But, you know, you're right. We need to somehow get it out there to let people know that you just can't take on some sort of a job, you know, where, you know, you need Barbara and the others to get involved to make sure it's done to code and, you know, it's done correctly. That's all. Doesn't take that much effort.
Barb, are there any fines involved with not filing for the permit?
Yes, working without a permit automatically gets a double fee. So that also doubles the village administrative fee. So, and it depends on how many, like patio is a separate permit, or walkway is a separate permit from, say for instance, in this case, a portico. So if they're working on everything, it would double everything. We do have some individuals in the community that don't necessarily think they need to get permits, and I'll stop at that, okay?
And this would pertain in this case as well?
Say again?
That would pertain in this case as well?
They were very cooperative. The crew that was on there immediately ceased work when I stopped by, gave them a field inspection notice stopping the job, gave them a permit application, and they got the application in. Had there not been a setback issue, on it, I would have gone forward with issuing a permit on it, but I couldn't issue it because of the building setback requirement. So,
And the pictures that Andy took, you're going to include those into the file?
if
So
they're
we know that
provided,
they're, so the
Yeah, if
homeowner
they're
that comes
provided,
in 20 years from now knows that the
yeah.
foundation was good.
Normally I don't accept pictures just because
Yeah.
you never know. A pier, one place could be a pier someplace else. So, but, and we usually also ask for an affidavit attesting to the work that was done and have it notarized so that there's some tracking of what was done, if they can. Because in this instance, that would be the main thing would be the footings. The rest of the structure can be duly inspected.
As to findings of fact, the portico over the existing stoop is 4 feet at the south end and 2 feet at the north end of the new portico. Is that correct?
That was my estimation,
That's
but
estimate.
Andy explained and I'll have to ask him because I
How
believe
much is it over the 35-foot setback?
Hang on a second, I'll get a copy of the plat.
Because it
went
wasn't
from
scaled out.
Approximately 24 inches on the south and only, between 8 to 10 inches on the north. As the building setback line is at an angle across the front.
Is this in a cul-de-sac by any way?
Yes,
Yeah.
it
Goes
is.
around?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. All right.
Well,
On the corner.
It is on the corner of
Oh. Acorn Court and
the Surrey Lane.
Surrey.
But it faces,
It faces Acorn, the front entrance,
Yeah.
yes.
Got 4 other homes in the area that have had the exact same portico and roof put on too. They all look very nice.
okay.
Sorry, it's so small.
The figure that you stated,
Yeah,
that
full size.
at the roof eaves, that overhang that, or at the
Just a little
footings?
hard to see, but it's,
That's at the overhang, what I just mentioned. The
Okay.
footings are actually set back. The foundation footings, actually, when we measure, those tend to be just on the, inside definitely on the north and right at, approximately at, or just a little hair over the center point of the post.
Thank you.
You've got 2 posts currently installed, don't you? That's
There's 2 piers.
how far it's gonna come out.
Correct.
Oh,
And then
I
the
see.
overhang is about a 12-inch overhang, just to give it some nice aesthetic.
Building
Well,
looks
when
like
it's-
here, so that's
when
why.
it's put up, yes.
Mhm.
So would you agree that it wouldn't impact for a finding of fact, that it wouldn't impact the neighborhood negatively?
No.
That's fine.
It should not.
It should not have a negative impact on the neighborhood.
And
Could be a positive.
could that be expanded to not only now, but in the future? So it won't like impact neighboring resale values or anything like that?
No.
It'll increase it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that, it would help it, I believe.
Yeah, it better.
Yeah, aesthetically, there's nothing wrong with it. It actually improves the overall aesthetics of the house and the area.
Especially if it keeps people from falling down and hurting themselves.
Say if more and more of us are getting packages delivered.
Mhm.
It looks like there would be not just some shelter for it from the roof, but the sides possibly. And it would make it more aesthetic. People driving by, they wouldn't possibly see it.
Will there be a light in the underneath?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. It'll be trimmed out to match the existing facade colors, textures, shingles to match. Fascia to match existing.
Any other findings of fact of interest on this?
Could I just recap to make sure that we've got them? Portico is approximately 24 inches over the building setback line.
Well, I don't think it is the way he was showing on his,
At the overhang, it is.
with the overhang.
Yeah, the
Oh, you're
overhang.
looking at the.
But if you go, yeah, if you go back in where the post is,
Okay.
it's so close.
How about if I correct that to portico face is approximately 24 inches on the south side and 8 to 10 inches on the north side.
That sounds very accurate.
4 other homes in the area have similar style porticos. It would not negatively impact on the neighbors. It would help and improve overall aesthetics of the community. And it would help in the safety for the homeowners and protection of property. Would those summarize your findings?
Sounds good.
With that, I'd entertain a motion based on these findings of fact that we have established to recommend to the village board that it approve the variance as requested by the petitioner.
So moved.
So move, or I'll second it.
No second, okay.
I'll fight you for it.
Wrestle.
As part of that, I'd like to say the chairman or designee shall execute and deliver to the board of trustees the findings of fact and this recommendation. I should have said that as we were doing it, so,
So move.
okay,
Seconded.
okay.
I'll just
All
give-
those in favor will be roll call.
Bolding,
Yes.
Buskey,
Yes.
Hoopa,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Kopetz,
Yes.
Platts.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
with that, we approve that. This will go to the village board meeting to have them approve it. And you're more than welcome to stay, or you can take off if you want to right now, because we basically approved it already.
Thank you, Lauren.
For your papers.
Oh, yeah, you can have those. I've got copies. Good. Yeah, you can use the bar if you want to for your file.
Yeah, I'll probably include that with them.
It's a little bit smaller
Yeah,
version, but.
No, it's fine. Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is old business. I have no old business. Anybody have anything? Beyond that is public comments. I assume there's no public comments. There's no public here. Under new business, discussion of potential sign ordinance changes, including electronic message board signs.
If I may lead on this,
Please.
Chairman. This kind of goes hand in hand with the number 8 that's now being seen as B. We're in the process of receiving a permit application from Twin Oaks Baptist Church. I don't know if you've noticed, but their sign was basically totaled and they have to replace it. They've been requesting for almost 5 years the opportunity to have an electronic message board. I've kind of taken this upon myself to bring this forward because if they're going to the cost of putting in a new sign, when in fact they wanted a message board, I didn't know if you as the commission would be interested in trying to ask the village board to add in a new line item in the current sign code to allow for message boards with a very slow message change rate. And the brightness level, so it doesn't blind the public.
So there's all standards for that.
Right, except I've been out on, we We have one where I live, where the bank has a message board and it blinds you when you're sitting at the stoplight because it's so bright. And so the church in previous communications and conversations with me said that they want to keep it very subdued, but they want to be able to change their activity items on the board, and they wouldn't do like a scrolling, but they have not applied for that. What they're applying for or is coming in is what's actually before you tonight. But I didn't know, quite
How
frankly,
many places in town here would we actually have an opportunity for them to come in and apply for an electronic messaging board other than the fire station and City Hall?
the potential would be if there's any change made on the north side of 72, which is currently commercial. If the current business district over here would want to change, they would have that opportunity. If they wanted to change out their, one of their, they're only allowed one monument sign, which this would fall under. And so they would have to literally remove their monument sign to go to something like this if they so chose. The possibility would be a change should the current Maxway Motors ever decide that whoever takes that over, if they wanted to change. Theoretically, KinderCare could ask for it, depending on what happens. If there's any rezoning on that parcel next to KinderCare, that might be another potential possibility. Also, the farmers stand might.
Is KinderCare actually in our village? I don't think
Yes.
so.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
KinderCare is
West
ours.
Dundee.
What?
KinderCare is West Dundee, isn't it?
No,
That's
it is
West
not.
Dundee.
So
It
it's
is
Sleepy Hollow.
not. That is the village of Sleepy Hollow.
I thought we
The
gave that
sound
away.
is signed for City House further down, but
No.
I believe they're part of it here.
It is,
You might
it
want to
is.
check on that. I don't know if
I
we get
know
any.
exactly it
You
is.
sure?
Yes, I have all their files. So it is definitely.
Barbara, on this though,
I'm
I,
sorry, I
Oh,
need people to speak line at time.
Sorry, Kathy.
I think Barbara, on that, just I think we've got to upgrade that and allow some of these signs. I mean, you've only got 72 and you've got Randall Road. Randall Road's the busiest corner out there and it's got signs all over the place. I mean, right across the street, you know, when you get in there, where the new apartment complex is, you've got Panera and all those. I mean, some of these signs can be done very elegantly. They don't need to be blaring, but if you want to say so, look at the LEDs on Salsa Street. I mean, the windows there, they've got those lights, lit up. You could say something about that, and these signs aren't as prevalent as that.
Yeah.
But I mean, what we're looking at is Route 72, and we're looking at Randall Road. And I think we've got to get realistic and stop, restricting businesses and let them do something. I mean, this bedroom community, I've said this before, mentality, okay, fine, people can still have it in the village. But I mean, if we need some revenue out there, then let's get some signs and let them do something. Let's ease the restrictions. You've got Spring Hill Mall across the street that has a scrolling sign. You've got the complex there where Best Buy was and Target was that now have a huge scrolling sign. So, I mean, what difference does it make if a small complex there puts it in? I guess maybe that's why I joined the planning and zoning and finance and all that. I'm just a little fed up with the mindset of some of the ones in the village where they want to restrict. And I think we've got to move forward. It's only going to affect Randall Road and it's going to affect 72. And I think if that's what the businesses need, especially in the environment the way it is today, let's free it up a little and let's help them out.
And going along with the 72, in recent conversations with the owners of the Rural Mattress Factory, they have a situation where the sign code only addresses the east and the north sides. So the north side facing 72, well, they face the south side. And so we can't even apply the current sign code because it's the south. So it's, when that was written, they probably didn't take that into consideration. but they're going to want to probably be updating their signs, so we need to look at that as well going forward, so.
So you want us to recommend that the board consider allowing electronic signs?
Yes, with
With reasonable restriction.
with reasonable restriction, because, along state highways, they're already controlled for the rate of change, but we're not on, well,
72 is-
70 is
yeah,
two is a
Randall
state
Road,
highway, I'm
yeah,
sorry, forgive me.
So both of those would be, fill into there.
Yeah, so, we'd have those restrictions that we could apply. So we might be able to just utilize some wording like that. Technically, because the sign code is part of the zoning ordinance, it would require another public hearing. But at least if they get some direction, and it may be that the church, if they know this change might be forthcoming shortly, would want to hold off on putting up a new sign.
They need to get another permit for a sign, seeing as how they had a sign?
Yes, anytime a sign is changed, whether it's sign face or new construction, it requires a permit.
If they put one out there, Barbara, like St. Catherine's has, that scrolling sign there, I mean, that's not in any way, shape, or form, obnoxious or right or whatever. And it can scroll, or it can just be steady.
Yeah, they were talking about doing something that was like steady and then just be able to change it for the activities for the week kind of thing. They were looking at keeping it very low key. But when we write that code change, we're looking at for what we have to apply to everybody. So we can't just like pick and choose kind of thing, but.
Barb, typically if a community allows these, is there any restrictions on the message, for example, political, controversial, whatever?
It's interesting you should bring that up, because our planner just brought up the fact that U.S. Supreme Court has ruled that you do not have any means of controlling the content of a sign that's on.
I was gonna say, as an attorney, the first reaction I had to that was free speech.
Right.
No.
And that's probably the
Yeah.
negative that I have, particularly with a religious organization, maybe, with the controversial thoughts in that direction.
Again, we can't control the content. We can control what it looks like. If we want to say that, in this case, it was brick, but even the colors, technically, we don't have much control. We can control the size. So that might be something else that needs to be fine tuned, so to speak.
You're on thin ice there if you start saying that you want to make sure that what they put out there is not political or religious or
Right.
Yeah,
whatever.
and that's why I say you
You're
cannot
you're
control.
definitely on thin ice.
Yeah, you cannot control the sign message. You can control the size of it and its location on the property.
And I think we should take that into consideration in approving or denying these signs.
What's that, what they can say?
Yeah, I mean,
You can't.
You can't.
no, but we can deny giving them permit for the sign.
You'd have a hard time with that one.
You'd have,
No.
yeah, but you can't even
If you
consider
approve-
I
that.
could see the
Our-
Supreme
our-
Court on that one.
No, our permit application now, we're asking to change it to allow this.
Correct.
So-
Well, the zoning ordinance we're asking.
Right,
Right.
so we don't have to allow the sign itself. So I think that consideration should be given to allowing the signs or not allowing signs
So if
across
we
the
don't
board.
allow it, they can't put the verbiage on there.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
But
I
that's
don't-
that's across the board. That's not on an individual.
No, I
basis.
understand that. That's what I meant.
Once you start saying, I'm scared of what people are gonna say, so I won't allow anybody to say anything, I think you've gone completely the wrong direction. We need open freedom of religion and freedom of speech are for openness in our society. Yes, there are gonna be things that are said that we don't like, but that's the nature of the beast, and it's a good beast.
And again, we won't control what is being said, but a scrolling sign, we don't have to allow.
Right. But there's some reasons to allow it
Yeah.
for business purposes.
Mhm.
And I would hope the sign they put up there on the Baptist church is better than the fire department sign. I can't read that doggone thing. It's all red and blue.
And the biggest problem I personally have with this Baptist church sign is the brick, which makes it an infrangible thing. If somebody comes off the side of the road, they're gonna kill themselves.
Well, it
Yeah,
broke
yeah,
with
but it's
nothing.
on private property, I see
It broke
that.
over there,
Yeah,
yeah.
it broke.
So,
And it's not close to the road. It doesn't
it's
look like.
not-
No, it's like probably 45 feet off.
somebody did go and smash the sign down last time.
But equally, you've got telegraph poles there, and
Right.
light
Yeah.
poles,
Yeah,
you know, you,
Hate to say that, that's person driving, that's their fault, that's their problem.
That's right.
I'm sorry, but that's the way it is.
you say, you know, you're concerned about lights, lighting, what have you. You look at the lights from the Honda, the VW dealership I handle there, they light the scale.
Mhm.
So
That Honda dealership, you're not kidding.
I'm blinded in my bathroom.
So what I'm hearing is we really don't have a large problem having an electronic message board sign. It's just we need some regulation on how bright and possibly how big it is.
Yes,
yes.
The locations.
got it. And as long as it conforms to setback and location and all that, then I don't see a problem.
Okay, and we don't have any real problem with the Twin Oaks Baptist Church rebuilding their sign at this point in time, depending on them meeting all the requirements that we have.
And basically, the sign that they've proposed, which is what you have there, meets the standard. There's not a size issue or anything like
But
that.
they haven't applied for it yet.
Well, it's in the mail, literally.
Okay. So what,
I've been working with the sign company and she's filling out the form and sending it in.
okay, so what's our next step on this?
Just any discussion about the sign as they're proposing, if you have, because the current zoning code requires the planning and zoning commission to approve any sign permits. It's, all I can tell you is it meets the standard, and that was set forth when, although it's zoned residential, their original agreement allows for a sign there. So it's meeting, and it's basically identical, it's just an updated face to what was there previously, which was starting to be decayed.
Because the brickwork has actually been knocked over, hasn't it?
Yes, sir.
Some of
Yeah.
the
Yes.
COVID
Right.
never happened.
Yeah, the one whole pillar is gone. So they're planning on taking it down and rebuilding it.
Are the foundations solid enough?
Yeah, there's not an issue there.
So Barbara, aren't we just speculating right now till we get the actual blueprints and proposal in front of us? We can't do anything. I mean, we can talk about it all night, but,
This is the plan that is submitted.
okay,
Yeah, it's just the fact that I don't have it right in hand the application.
okay.
But because I knew that application was coming in, instead of calling you back, I was trying to save you a trip into,
And then they have the ground lighting that shines onto the sign,
Right,
which a
which is-
lot of times can be a detriment to a driver when it gets kicked out of the way or whatever. So I mean, I've seen them,
yeah, that's also existing.
yeah.
So, unless you wish to have some other methodology,
That's only two ways they can do it.
exactly.
Yeah.
But that's.
Either externally or internally.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's going to be external because there is no internal lighting to this. And the, like I said, it was previously lit in the same manner that they were showing, so it's just resecuring it.
So I have no problem with them allowing the sign to go in. and basically in the form they're showing, because that's basically what it was. Correct?
Correct.
Any other comments in that regard?
Did we finish A?
It
Well,
kind of
that
rolled,
just put
kind of
both
rolled
of them
it.
together.
Kind
Just
of
kind of
rolled
rolled them
together.
Yeah, kind of
together,
roll them
okay.
together, yeah.
They kind of came together.
It's just that we need to, if we want to include an electronic message board, we need to approach it sometime in the future.
Okay.
Okay, on C, you have appointing a secretary for the PZC.
We're gonna have to back up on the, because we would be recommending, we have to send a recommendation to the village board.
Or do we?
Yes,
Okay.
on the sign. This is your first sign, Mr. Chairman. It's similar that you have to recommend approval of the sign permit be issued according to the plans. You may wish to include your recommendation to the village board of considering having the board grant them the opportunity to bring in a message board type sign for approval, simply because
Can I
that's how
also
that would.
move?
Okay, let me see if I can rewrite this.
You just did a mouthful. Do you want it in two separate bites or one bite?
No, let's
Keep it
see.
in one.
We'll have motion to recommend approval of the sign as presented, with a recommendation,
To potentially approve motion signs.
the board consider a message board, electronic message board correction.
We really wouldn't take it upon ourselves. It would be something the board would have to give us the direction to look at that and then to go from there, I would believe.
For an electronic sign?
Yes.
Yeah, for an
Yeah.
electronic sign, correct.
Yeah, not for the wood board or whatever they're
That-
putting up there, but to look at a zoning change, that would be direction from the village board.
Right, the village board did grant the fire department their sign.
Yeah.
I'm just, that's how that sign got there. So that's why I'm not sure if you want to couch that recommendation or if you want to ask the board for that change.
Do we just want to look at electronic signage, or would we also want to have a look at current signage?
It all
For
needs-
example, I remember last year, the judo club or whatever they're called,
Yeah.
we had to give them a variance because of the size or number of.
Actually, they
units.
just, they fell within the sign. There was no variance
You
required. That
they
was just
have
approval.
to have
Oh, we
approval.
just,
It was the same thing where it was brought in. They
Okay.
met the requirements,
gotcha.
but as the
Wasn't
code official,
straightforward, was it?
yeah, as the code official, I can never issue a sign permit even if it meets the code. It has, Sleepy Hollow is unique in this manner in that it has to come before the commission and they have to recommend that it goes to the village board and then the village board has to approve it before I can ever issue a building permit. So as far as I know, this is the only community that has this requirement.
That's interesting.
So that would also be something that I would highly recommend in the sign code that it gets changed.
So we're putting together a motion to recommend to the village board that they replace a sign, or they allow the replacement of the sign for the Twin Oaks Baptist Church. And we also recommend that the village board investigate electronic message board signs within the village.
Yeah.
Or review the signage requirements entirely.
Yeah, maybe we need to do this as a two-parter.
Um,
Yeah, they're separate.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
we'll start this over. How about Ms. Buskey would motion to recommend approval of the sign as presented to the village
Yes.
board by the chair or his designee? Shall we take that first?
Yes,
Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna have, do we have a second for that motion?
Second,
Sorry, Mr. Bolding, I heard before I saw.
That's okay.
okay,
Roll call, Bolding,
Yes.
Buskey,
Yes,
Fuqua,
yes,
Hoffman,
Yeah.
Kopacz,
Yes.
Plath.
yes.
Okay,
okay.
then as a second item, do we wish to,
I'll make that motion too. We recommend I move that we recommend the board consider allowing electronic signs with restrictions.
That sounds good.
And you also wish to include that that can be provided by the chairman or his designee?
And provided by the chairman or designee. Yes. Here, I get nods over here.
Okay, do we have a second for that?
I'll second
George is-
Which gentleman was it?
Mr. Hoffman?
That's all.
Okay.
Okay, roll call. Holding,
Yes.
Buskey,
Yes.
Kukrow?
Yes.
Hoffman,
it. Yes.
Kopetz?
Yes.
Plath?
Yes.
Okay. That takes care of items A and B.
Okay, C, Secretary for the Planning and Zoning Commission. I take it we need to see you don't have to take notes all the time, is that it?
Well, by the code, you're supposed to have a secretary that actually does the minutes in case I'm not here and you have another meeting. But I kind of do that role as it is, but technically by the code, one of you other commissioners is supposed to be, in quotes, the secretary for the commission.
Is anybody interested in taking over that responsibility?
Well, how about if we do this? How about if you table it with the consideration for the next meeting?
Okay, can I just say I'm tabling it?
I think we could do that.
Okay, I'm tabling this with consideration in the next meeting.
So does somebody want to move for adjournment?
Move for adjournment.
Second.
And Mr. Bolding,
Yes.
Ms. Buskey,
Yep.
Mr. Kukrow.
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman,
Yes.
Mr. Kopacz,
Yes.
and Mr. Plath.
Yes.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you all for coming.
you.
Thank you.
And don't get wet going home.
Oh, we're going to get wet.
Yeah, unfortunately.
At least it's not the white stuff.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's coming.
Rockford had some the other day.
Yeah, they did.